Now there are several different reasons as to why people give up so easily and throw a game, either it be in Overwatch, League of Legends, Hero of the Storm, you name it. And if it's a competitive game, people are going to do what they can to make the game unenjoyable or turn a winnable situation into either a 5v6 or a 4v5, sometimes even a 4v6 or a 5v7 if they are intentionally feeding ult status to the enemy team to try and help them win faster. But why do people do this? I mean, of course there's several different reasons as to why people do this, but I'm going to be going over some of the things that I've seen in some of the games that I've played from personal experience. And of course, again, if you guys have ever had a situation like this, then I would love to hear about it from you, and, you know, leave a comment below and tell me about it. Now, the first kind of thrower I'd like to talk about is the "we gave up first objective, it's over" thrower. This is the kind of person that will switch to Hanzo or something and sit in base and complain about how hopeless the game is now that they've given up this first objective. Or if you give up first dragon in League of Legends, saying that the game is over and typing something like "open mid" in chat, which I'll get to that in just a bit. But giving up one objective in a game isn't really a let's throw scenario, it's more of a let's regroup and rethink about what we're doing and try to establish some ground here. But if we just throw the game after one objective gone, then there's no point in even playing the game, I think, period. With the open mid mentality, which I mentioned a little bit earlier, this is probably one of the most toxic things people have learned on the NA servers that started developing in solo queue mentality. But open mid originated from the Korean boot camp program for League of Legends pros, I think during season 5 or 6, during the time when a lot of those pros went from North America over to Korea and streamed their practice environments, with a lot of players either playing in internet cafes. Time was a huge issue for them, so teams would agree to open mid or just let the enemy team just win the game as quickly as possible in order to get as many games in as possible for the time that they had at those internet cafes. Now what this did was translate over to the American servers. Generally solo queue players took this as a way to give up during a ranked game so that they could just get in and get out of games quicker, so that hopefully they could climb faster. So that way it led people to believe that giving up early was the best way to go about things. And it seems like that was one of the only concepts that the North American solo queue ladder learned from these specific streams, is that it's okay to just intentionally give up if you say open mid. It's just fine. It's a way to just quit playing the game without getting reported for it, which I felt was a little ridiculous. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but I definitely thought that was absolutely crazy. Moving on from that, off-meta picks was another thing that people thought would mean that you're either trolling or you're throwing. People would vocalize their distaste with your pick in a competitive game, especially where there's an established meta, to the point where if you play anything other than what hero you're supposed to play, you're going to catch the question, are you trolling? Are you throwing? Are you stupid? Like, why are we throwing right now? And people would pick things like Hanzo, Teemo, Sombra, Symmetra attack, Shin support. Like, some of these different things, depending on which game you play, will seem like you're immediately trying to throw the game, like you're trying to give up and just make it harder for everyone else around you. And some people honestly think that when you pick those specific heroes, and, you know, maybe it's not the most meta thing in the world, that you're automatically throwing the game and that you're trying to just give up already. So people will play with that mentality of, we've already given up anyway, there's no reason for me to try any harder than I need to. And when it all comes down to it, I think that people throw, now of course correct me if I'm wrong or tell me about your personal situations, I think people throw when they feel that everything, all hope is lost. And some people just throw because they play so many games in a season that one game lost isn't really going to affect them that badly, because they're gonna play, you know, 700, 1,000, 1,300 games this season. One of those games just quickly ending isn't going to make too much of a difference to them. But you've got the other people that may only play their 7 games a week. You've got the people that may only play like once or twice a week in League, and they're still good players, but they take that time to spend it playing a ranked game and invest a lot of their time and be like, I'm not going to waste my time with this. Whereas the person who plays every single day from the time they wake up to the time they go to sleep, and they're just like a completely different mentality of, it's just one game. But, you know, that other person may only have that one game to play, so they take it completely differently than you would, and they're just so quick to get in and get out versus the person who wants to make every moment count. And that's, I think, where it comes into the whole thing about people wanting to surrender and people not wanting to surrender, is how much time do you really get to play the game? Somebody who plays the game almost every single day from sun up to sundown, yeah, they're probably going to want to surrender a game, or yeah, they'll probably drop out of a game or help troll to get the game out of the way as quickly as possible, but the other person is going to try and win the game or try and play the game out no matter how good or bad the situation looks, depending on how much time they're allowed to play the games that they want to. Maybe this is their last game of the day and they just want to finish it out. Things like that happen. Now, I'm sure there are several other reasons why people like to throw a game, or give a reason as to why throwing is important to them or why they should do it, but I like to hear again what you guys have to say. If you had any recent experience with people instantly giving up on your games, I'd love to hear about it. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Alright, peace.